Hello and welcome to the first K.Hartwall Retail Webinar. I'm very happy to see you here, all participants and dear guests. This will be an exciting event today for you, which you will join here together with my colleagues from Finland and with myself. So my name is Heiner Jos Kleingrebe. I'm in K.Hartwall for almost 4 years now, working in different positions, and today I have the pleasure to be to work as a moderator for this nice webinar. And usually I'm working for the K.Hartwall automation side as the sales director, automation and AGV. And we will have an exciting afternoon together. And I would shortly introduce my colleagues and our dear customer, the SPAR International members, Mr. Jürgen Tomas and Mr. Bert Huber. So we will hear a lot of new things. I'm very much sure about that. A lot of new things from K.Hartwall, from the K.Hartwall product range, and we will talk about our nice and very successful product, the K.Hartwall Foldia roll cage. And we will start with my dear colleague, Mr. Stefan Lindh. He is the head of business unit retail. And after that, we will hear about the Foldia in use and the advantages of this nice product from our sales director in Benelux and DACH, Anton van Ginneken from the Netherlands. And then after that, it's very nice that we have the opportunity that Mr. Jürgen Tomas, who is working as a supply chain consultant and supply chain expert in SPAR International, St. Gallen, Switzerland. And he will talk about a use case where our Foldia solution is up and running in a big warehouse. And this will be really exciting. And then after that, we will see more about the Foldia in a short video and company presentation of K.Hartwall. And then it's your turn, dear guests, to ask as many questions as possible, which these gentlemen will then immediately reply on and will give you the answers. So please feel free to put your questions into our and information before we now start with Stefan Lindh's speech. This webinar will be recorded, and you will be served with the link in a few days so that you can show it to your colleagues, that you can look it again, and this will happen in a few days. And now it's the turn for my dear colleague Stefan Lindh. Please, Stefan.
Hello, my name is Stefan Lindh. I'm working as the head of business unit retail at K.Hartwall, a leading provider of material handling and supply chain logistics solutions. What a challenging time to be working in the retail logistics now. Prior to COVID-19, the labor shortage was causing many companies to consider dramatically changing their operation and implementing automation wherever possible. The global interruption of supply chain caused by the pandemic has now speeded up that cycle. Sustainability is another hot topic. Everybody is looking to reduce their carbon footprint, but not at the cost of losing operational efficiency and effectiveness. Let me first start by telling you briefly about K.Hartwall. K.Hartwall is a family-owned company with headquarters near Helsinki in Finland. We have been in business over 85 years, making material handling equipment. Today, we are working with customers in over 60 countries, including many of the biggest names and market leaders in their own segments within retail, automotive, and parcel operations. We support our customers with everything from manual handling equipment such as roll containers to more advanced solutions within AGVs, tugger trains, IoT. We work with companies from US to Europe and Australia with one goal in mind, which is to improve manual handling in warehouses, retail distribution, store handling, and e-commerce logistics. As my final topic, I wanted to give you a quick peek into future of a retail distribution center. This is our A-Mate mobile robot feeding pallets to an automated storage system. Roll cages are the best method to deliver mixed loads to stores. Nevertheless, there are flows inside DCs, be it pallets or roll cages, that can be further optimized and automated. K.Hartwall can be your partner on that journey as well. So stay tuned for an upcoming webinar regarding this topic.
Thank you very much, Stefan. This was really impressive to see in how many fields K.Hartwall is working and in how many branches, industries K.Hartwall products are working. So my part, as I introduced myself, is the automation is the very new part in K.Hartwall, but the traditional part is so big and so much interested. We will see now, as we will continue here with Anton van Ginneken and his nice presentation about the Foldia, about the topic of today here in our retail webinar. So please, Anton.
Hello everyone, and a warm welcome to this exciting webinar. My name is Anton van Ginneken, and at K.Hartwall I'm the responsible sales manager regarding our retail and logistics business within Western Europe. Today I will be explaining you the advantages of the K.Hartwall Foldia roll container compared to the more traditional demountable roll cages. In the next quarter of an hour or so, I will discuss the following points with you. Number 1, how the Foldia leads to an improvement in the usage of space in the warehouse, during transport, in your stores and at your customers. Number 2, how you can save time with the Foldia, minimizing your manual handling, increasing your productivity and therefore lowering your operational cost. As a third, I will discuss how the Foldia supports the work ergonomics in your company. And as a fourth, last but not least, the compatibility of the Foldia with other types of roll cages and also automated picking solutions. First, let me briefly explain what the Foldia is. About 10 years ago, we at K.Hartwall found it was time to develop a new innovation in the world of roll containers. Of course, we did not just want to copy what was already there. We wanted to come up with a better and improved solution. That is why we developed a foldable version and gave it the appropriate name Foldia. Because it is a foldable container, there are no loose parts which need to be put together. This allows the Foldia to be put into use very quickly, while the ergonomic design ensures a high degree of user-friendliness. If we look at the demountable roll containers that are currently available on the market, we generally find two different types. The most common type is the one in which the sidewalls are always dismantled from the base and which therefore have to be disassembled and reassembled again and again. The second type is usually assembled once, the sides most of the time clamped to the base, and then transported as a rigid unit. In the next few minutes, we'll take a closer look at why the Foldia is much better to operate than the two demountable cage types in each and every way. The first point that I would like to address is the use of space during transport, which we also call cubic fill. Let's start with the space required for delivery from the distribution center to the stores. Of course, it also depends on the exact dimensions of the container. But if we take a demountable container in one of the most common sizes, 815 by 720 millimeters, and compare that one with a Foldia in size 806 by 704 millimeters, we see that in most cases we're able to put an additional row of containers in the truck. That's 3 more. If you add that the Foldia can be delivered in versions with a higher usable interior height than most demountable cages, it is clear that the cubic truck filling is much better. In this case, it will increase by about 5 to 6%. This is also the case with the rigid units. If I would take a rigid unit in size 815 by 675 millimeters, we see that the usable height of the Foldia is around 10 centimeters more with almost the same footprint, which enables a 6 to 7% increase in volume in the entire truck. That is a lot of extra products. When it comes to the return transport from the store back to the distribution center, it is also the Foldia which is in advantage. This is especially the case with the rigid containers, where only 108 units can be loaded, compared to 285 Foldias if I take the same dimensions as in the previous example. That's 177 units, or 63% more. Imagine the time, the fuel, and therefore the cost that can be saved. Compared to the demountable containers, up to roughly 5.5% more Foldias can fit into a truck, depending on the cage footprint and truck floor space. Due to the construction of the Foldia, the load, both in filled as well as empty conditions, however, is much more safe. This is because the Foldias are not dismantled and therefore transported as a whole container, instead of moving containers which are either built out of or filled with loose parts, as is the case with the demountable containers. A further improvement in the use of space can be found as well in the distribution center. Compared to the demountable units, no additional space is required for the storage of Foldias. And compared to the rigid units, even a high number of square meters of space can be saved. These can be used for other and better purposes, such as the storage of products. Your stores or your customers will also be delighted, because they require less space in the back room and do not have to dismantle or lift any parts. No muscles or tools are required to operate the Foldia. Just easily slide a folded unit into an unfolded one. Of course, we will be very happy to make a calculation for you based on your own current roll container fleet to ensure that the calculated savings correspond to your actual situation. Now let's go over to the time savings. It goes without saying that it takes time to either dismantle or reassemble a container which is made up out of loose parts. A more experienced person working in the distribution center, working constantly with these units, will probably be quicker in setting it up, assembling, disassembling, than an employee in the store who only does it a few times a week. But even then, in both cases, an average of 35 to 40% of time is saved when using the Foldia, as the only action you need to do is to fold or unfold the container. The required time to set up a rigid container, that is pretty much the same, but since the Foldia does not have to be lifted or turned around, such as a complete heavy unit, which is the case with a rigid container, handling, of course, is much more ergonomic and a lot safer. We stay in the distribution center to find our next savings, where there is often a separate designated area for assembling the units in the case of demountable roll containers. From the buffer or storage area, the containers are first transported to this intermediate zone, assembled, and only then the assembled units are transported to the picking area. This means double handling, and the cages can only be transported from the assembly area to the picking area as a fully assembled unit, meaning only a limited amount can be moved at once into the picking zone. The Foldia can be brought directly from the buffer or storage area to the picking zone without any additional steps. Due to the 5:1 ratio of the Foldia, which means 4 folded ones in 1 unfolded, it is possible to transport 15 containers at once instead of just 3 as with the demountable type. That is 5 times more. If we assume that 6 of the rigid containers can be transported at once, it is also possible here with the Foldia to move 9 more, a 60% quantity increase. Over the last minutes, we have covered the more efficient cubic filling when delivering from the distribution center to the store, the higher quantity, better filling and higher security during return transport, faster handling and space savings, both in the distribution center as well as in these stores. All these points result in significant cost savings that have a direct impact on your bottom line. We're not claiming that the Foldia is the cheapest unit on the market when it comes to the initial purchase price. However, it usually is already after 1 to 2 years. And of course, we are very happy to calculate the ROI or return of investment depending on your specific situation. Now let's go to the ergonomics and the ease of use. As we've seen before, the Foldia does not require you to assemble anything or lift any heavy parts, as there are no loose parts. With a weight of only 23 to 27 kilograms per container, depending on the version of course, it is easy to just tilt the container and roll it into another Foldia. In addition, high quality wheels ensure that one person can easily move the roll container around, even with a full load. Thanks to the placement of horizontal crossbars, additional shelves can be placed at various heights to ensure optimal use of volume per container. Due to a handle in the base can easily be placed upright. Then the retainer lock holds the base, so you don't need to hold on to anything. Choosing the Foldia roll container is also a very sustainable choice. In daily operation, we see that the lifespan of the K.Hartwall roll containers is more than twice as long compared to demountable versions. There are even some exceptional cases in which we have seen containers that are more than 20 years old. Of course, this highly depends on how the containers are treated. In normal use, K.Hartwall roll containers last up to an average of 10 to 12 years. Due to the availability of spare parts covering almost every part of the Foldia, as well as the ability to purchase repair tools, you can easily repair damaged roll containers, which means that there is less waste compared to demountable units, which often cannot be repaired and then need to be scrapped. The use of a returnable load carrier also reduces the need for resources, such as wood and definitely plastics. As compared to other solutions such as pellets, none or a minimal amount of stretch film is required. This quickly adds up to massive savings as well. Due to the better and more efficient truck filling with Foldias, less transport is required, less energy is used, and therefore also the carbon footprint per transported product is reduced. The last topic I will be covering in this webinar today is the ability to use the Foldia in automated warehouse solutions. Thanks to the combination of robotic welding on the one hand and the use of a molded plastic base on the other hand, the design is both robust, reliable, and has a very low deviation margin, making it a highly suitable product to use in automated systems. The design can be used in combination with system or adapter pallets for internal transport in automated storage systems. Loading and transporting Foldias on conveyor belts or conveyor chains is possible due to a strong construction, including metal profiles which ensure long-lasting and reliable transport. A proven track record of using the Foldia in automated solutions ensures that you are not taking any chances or risks. Foldias already have been implemented and used in various automated and optimized warehouse processes. For example, in installations made by Witron or SimCorp. Both loaded and empty, the Foldia can be used together with other roll containers for an ongoing modernization of your roll container fleet. If I have during this webinar piqued your interest and you would like to find out more about the application of the Foldia container, please do not hesitate to contact us. You can find the contact details of the sales manager responsible for your region and of course all our products on our website www.k-hartwall.com. In addition to our products, you will find information such as customer case studies, news and our company profile there. You can also find us on LinkedIn and on YouTube, where all of our product videos, webinars and instruction videos are available. The only thing remaining for me at this moment is to thank you very much for your time and attention to this webinar. I sincerely hope to speak to you soon about your next smart move in logistics.
Thank you very much, Anton van Ginneken, for this nice overview of this nice product, our Foldia. And I must say, I'm fully impressed about the total cost of ownership calculation here. And I think K.Hartwall is really a strong partner for you, dear customers, which cannot only sell new units to you. In K.Hartwall, the experts, the PD experts, they take care also about the after sales. And as we have seen here in the video, the nice repair bench. So this is really a nice tool, and sustainability is really a big part of the culture of K.Hartwall. And when we see 20 years old units still in use, some wheels changed in that period, this is really a sign of sustainability, and this is the difference to other suppliers. And the other thing is, the Foldia is ready for automation, which impresses me all the time when I have a look at these installations on customer sites. So this is really, as Anton explained, this is the result of an automated production, automating welding robots, and the high quality which K.Hartwall delivers to the customers. And now we will come to a use case, a customer case from SPAR International, and we will come to the speaker, to the moderator, Mr. Jürgen Tomas. So please, Mr. Tomas.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the K.Hartwall Retail Webinar. My name is Jürgen Tomas. I will tell you about the experience with the Foldia at SPAR Switzerland. First, a few words about SPAR in general. You can find SPAR worldwide in 48 countries on 4 continents. He's the second largest retailer in the world with 410,000 employees, 13,501 markets, near to 40 billion euros turnover, 7.45 million square meter sales area. SPAR Switzerland has part of the South Africa Group since 2016. Also SPAR Botswana, Mozambique, Namibia, Zambia, Zimbabwe, SPAR Ireland, Southwest England, Sri Lanka and SPAR Poland. They are also part of the South African SPAR Group. With 10,168 employees, 4,357 markets and 7.3 billion euros turnover in 2020. SPAR has one DC in the northeast of Switzerland, from where about 50 tours are driven to more than 350 stores every day. In 1 year, that's more than 620,000 roll containers delivered. In the past, SPAR used to turn a roll container and put two as one together. Now, with the Foldia, 4 as one. 3 containers can be folded and stacked in an open for maximum use of space anyway. What SPAR did? SPAR has modified the original Foldia together with K.Hartwall to use them also on the conveyor system. 2 additional bars at the bottom of the RC makes this possible. This is an overview of the potential fields in the SPAR process. It affects the markets, the backhauling capacity, where you bring in from the supplier goods in the warehouse, extra empty container returns, unloading empties in the DC, also transfer to the fresh or other internal transfers, the buffer dimension and the conveyor's volume, the picking, the providing and the delivery. It's listed to close the process, but this do not affect anything there. I will show you some examples. SPAR has many small shops with little space. With the Foldia, this space can be used optimally. With the Foldia, there's more space in the trucks for backhauling and fewer extra trips with empty RCs are necessary. Calculated, that's twice as much. Plus 120 roll container can be loaded. In the goods receiving area, less space is needed, and the requirements for the container buffer is also lower. When receiving empty roll container, it makes a significant difference how many roll containers per bundle have to be unloaded and stored. Same for the internal transfers. Also, the container buffer can be smaller, which has a positive effect on costs. You earn space, save money. Is there something better? Here again the overviews of the potential fields with the following statements. In the markets, space is optimized. Backhauling capacity or the earnings with that is increased. The extra empty returns are reduced. Unloading empty and transfers internal goes faster and more compact. Buffer dimension is reduced. The conveyor volume is increased also. Let's talk about costs and benefits. The total investment for the roll container replacement was 780,000 Swiss francs. But SPAR saves, including the higher income for the backhauling, 320,000 Swiss francs every year. That's a simple calculation. The biggest benefit goes to backhauling, extra empty, returns, and the reduced buffer investments. But everything matters. If you need further information, please contact Beat Huber, Head of Logistics at SPAR Switzerland. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tomas, for this very interesting presentation. And I must say, these are very impressive figures. The figures about SPAR International itself and the structure of the organization. So how big SPAR International is divided into which countries, and yeah, on the other hand, an impressive figure of your savings due to using the Foldia solution, 320,000 Swiss francs. That's really a lot of money. And I can see here in the chat that you will be, at the end of this webinar, you will get some questions out of the audience here today, which also shows that this is really an interesting and fantastic project, which K.Hartwall and SPAR Switzerland did together. And yeah, it is not finalized, so it will continue, I guess. And so it would be very interesting to listen to the questions and answers. And at this point here of the webinar, I would like to ask the audience again for putting in some questions into the chat. And before we go to the question and answers session, we will see now a video, special video about K.Hartwall and the Foldia.
Kun rullakot palautuu myymälästä, niin nehän tietenkin tulee niin, että 5 kappaletta yhdessä nipussa, eli 4 yhden sisällä. Ja sitten ne täällä käsitellään niin, että ne aukaistaan, katsotaan, että ne on kunnossa, ei ole mitään tullut ongelmia matkaan niiden paluulogistiikan aikana. Rikkinäiset siirretään pois, jos näin on käynyt. Ja ehjät syötetään automaatioon, ja automaatio siirtää ne rullakot sitten eri tarpeisiin, eli myös sen automaation tarpeisiin, mutta myös manuaalikeräysalueelle. Rullakoitahan meillä on yhteensä käytössä noin 130 000 kappaletta, millä me katetaan sitten koko toiminta Suomen laajuisesti. Inex käyttää rullakoissa muovipohjaa, ja mehän päädyimme muovipohjaan jo vuonna 2000, vaikkakin ei ollut automaatiota käytössä, mutta sehän helpottaa myös manuaalista käsittelyä. Ja sehän sitten toi tässä automaation mukana, kun aloitimme täällä Sipossa 2016, sen hyödyn, että pohja pysyy suorana koko ajan. jos ajatellaan Foldia kokonaisuutena, niin kyllähän meille tärkein osa-alue on tällä hetkellä laatu, eli että se on riittävän laadukas, eli se kestää aikaa ja vähän rajumpaakin käsittelyä. Ja sanotaanko näin, että rullakon paras hyöty on se, että sitä pystyy siirtämään paikasta A paikkaan B ilman mitään konetta, eli pyörillä voidaan siirtää ja ihan käsipelillä. Ja sitten tietenkin se, että se soveltuu jokaiseen myymäläympäristöön. Pienempiin myymälöihin melko lailla menee suurin osa rullakoina. Myös tilat on niin pienet, että ne ei pysty vastaanottamaan lavoja, että silloin siirrytään rullakoihin. Ja myös sitten paljon terminaalissa kun yhdistellään, eli tulee pieniltä toimittajilta, niin ne yhdistellään sitten rullakkoon. Ja myös pystytään paremmin hallitsemaan eri lämpötiloja, eli voidaan pieniäkin määriä laittaa rullakkoja eri lämpötilaan tarvittaessa.
Rullakoiden parhaat hyödyt on ehdottomasti se, että kaikki pystyy sitä käyttämään ikään ja kokoon katsomatta. Se on ergonomisesti hyvin suunniteltu ja se myös on turvallinen, vie vähän tilaa varastoidessa ja sitä on helppo käyttää. Rullakoiden käyttö tuo meille tehokkuutta ja ennen kaikkea kokonaisprosessin hallinta helpottuu.
Thank you very much to our technical support in the background for this nice movie. And thank you for sure to our customers that we are allowed to do the filming there and to do the videos. And this is really fantastic when we have the possibilities, and the result speaks for itself, so to say. Also, it was in a very foreign language, but I think pictures speak for themselves. And now we will start here our questions and answer session. And I'm really happy to see that we have a lot of questions in the chat. And please continue asking these questions, put them into the chat. Our colleagues, our team here, and our guests, Mr. Thomas, he will try to answer everything. So the first question I have here in the chat, this question will go, I think, to Stefan Lindh. It is related to Stefan's presentation. Is the A-Mate AGV you showed also able to transport roll containers? Please, Stefan.
Okay, thank you, Heiner. Heiner, to give the word to me. And hello, everyone from Helsinki in Finland. Yes, the short answer is yes, of course. As we at K.Hartwall, we are developing our products to more like to be a partner for you and our customers than just a supplier. So we are developing our AGVs as also the tugger trains, our tugger train called the Liftliner. So we are developing both the AGV and the Liftliner to carry load carriers, roll containers, Foldias, compact containers, everything. So that was an easy question for me. Thank you. I hope that was satisfied the question.
Thank you, Stefan, for this answer. So there is another question regarding the Foldia. I think Anton can answer this question best here. Does the Foldia exist with 3 or 4 sides as well? So maybe
yes, both the Foldia as well as our compact container exist with 3 or 4 sides, and we also have multiple solutions to close the sides, whether it is with our flexible add-on flex doors, which is more a webbing kind, or with a fixed gate. There are possibilities to have a 3 or 4-sided Foldia or compact container roll cage. So yes, most definitely we can provide 3 or 4-sided Foldias. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Anton. Next question goes, I would say this is related to the costs of repair. So I would say we will ask the customer. So Mr. Jürgen Tomas, maybe you can answer this question here. What are the repair costs per Foldia per annum approximately? So not a concrete figure, but yeah, how do you see this?
Welcome from the SPAR side. I'm happy to answer this question. Like Mr. Jos Kreigevis said, that's not the special amount I can tell you about, but it's approx 10% higher costs than the normal standard roll container repairs due to more moving parts. But this also is considered in the calculation. So we are good with them.
Thank you very much. And then I would say the next question we have here in the chat goes again to Stefan Lindh. Is the Foldia adapted to automation, or are there challenges? So Stefan, maybe you can answer this.
Okay, thank you, Heiner. Again, is the Foldia suitable for automation? The fast answer is yes, of course. And that is actually a reason why, for example, SPAR, but also INEX, and many of our customers are choosing the Foldia because of the plastic base, it is straight underneath, so it's very simple to transport on conveyors, and also the tolerances on the plastic base and on the whole roll cage is really narrow, which means that they fit very well for automation. And we actually do several projects together with the biggest ones in the automation projects for retailers. So we are actually, for example, a preferred supplier for Witron in the world when it comes to roll containers and so on. So yes, they fit very well. And actually we have we know that several retailers have changed from the old model, which we know the diamantable, or then compact containers actually to the Foldia because of the automation. So yes, thank you. I hope that was a good answer to the question.
Thank you, Stefan, for this. I think this was a really good answer and very useful. So the next question goes to Anton van Ginneken. Anton, how fast is the return on investment when you change from pallet-based operations to wheeled logistics?
Thank you, Heiner. That's really a very good question. It can be very fast. Of course, it depends a little bit on the calculations that you make. And of course, we will be very happy to do that with our customers. We have done that in the past, where we really look at the data together with the customer, make a calculation on the ROI, on the return on investment, and then look at, okay, how fast will it pay itself back? Depending, of course, on the situation, it can be very fast. So it could be already within 1.5 to 2 years. I would say with a maximum to 3 years, the investment should have paid itself back. So quite quickly. And again, yeah, we are always willing to help make that calculation on how fast the ROI is in the specific case asked by a customer.
Okay, thank you very much, Anton. So the next question I have here in the chat goes again to Mr. Tomas, to SPAR. So what is the biggest benefit when you took the Foldia roll cages into use?
It's not that easy to put the benefits only on one point. Like you saw in the presentation, there are some points. The backhauling capacity is one of the biggest points. Also, the less empty returns with empty roll containers, and the reduced buffer investment when we had to replace the buffer.
Oh, sorry, you are muted. Mr. Tomas, you are muted.
Okay. I wasn't at the beginning. So there are these 3 points I showed you in the presentation. First, the backhauling capacity and the lower empty returns when we bring back the empty roll containers, and also the lower investment for the replacement of the buffer. These are the 3 most important points and the most biggest benefits in our calculation as SPAR.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Tomas, about that. And now I have a question here. It is for Stefan. This is The question is, what do you mean by TCO exactly?
Okay, hello again, and thank you, Heiner, for that. TCO comes from total cost of ownership, and it maybe is a long and difficult word, but we actually, everyone that we are listening to this webinar, we are thinking about it, but maybe not in this way. But anyway, the total cost of ownership comes from some, of course, that how much, including all the service costs and around the cost, that the product is costing you after, let's say, 3 years or 5 years. So when it comes to K.Hartwall, we know for sure that the first day we are mostly one of the little bit more expensive ones when it comes to roll containers, but that's the first day. After a year or two, we are almost every time the cheapest one. This comes from more or less service cost, first of all, but then also that our roll containers, we can give 3 years guarantee. And in the end of the day, we see that our roll containers, they are still kicking around the world after 10 years, which means that our customers don't need to do this investment every year. And therefore, the total cost of ownership is much less on our quality products after 3 to 5 years. And I think that this is to take a good example from the everyday where we live, and you are thinking about a new car. And of course, you go to the shop where they sell cars and you look at different brands there. And of course, there are expensive brands and there are cheaper brands and so on, but you always think about the rest price after 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. That is the total cost of ownership. That what I will put this money the first day, but after 3 years, that the cheap car will not have any value anymore. And then if you maybe buy a more expensive German car, maybe it will still be a really good car after 5 years. And in this way, you need to think you are also investing in load carriers. So that was it. Thank you. I hope that was a good answer.
Thank you, Stefan. Very good answer. I think this is really a good point. Now I have a question here in the chat, which goes to Mr. Beat Huber. This is a general question. I think the customer or the guest here in our webinar is now close to make a decision to buy roll cages or a product from K.Hartwall. The question to Mr. Huber is here: why did you or SPAR choose K.Hartwall as the supplier?
Hello, together, yes, from my side, K.Hartwall, the decision for K.Hartwall was we have a good relationship in the development phase with K.Hartwall. We started first with 2 suppliers in this process for the new Foldia roll cage, and yes, in the phase from development, we saw that K.Hartwall have an open mind and look to our processes, and it was important for us. Not only the technical thing was important, they would understand our process. That's what was very important for us. I hope you understand that my English is not well. But
very good.
Yes.
Yes, we understand very well. Thank you, Mr. Huber. We understood very well. So another question which goes, we have the choice here to ask Stefan or Anton. Maybe we can ask Anton this question here. Is the Foldia compatible with other roll cages, Anton?
Again, a very good question, because of course, if you gradually would want to renew your fleet, it is possible that the two go together, the new one and the old one. So I'm very happy that I can say, yes, they are compatible. In 99.99% of the cases, they can work very well together. This enables that you are not going to have to renew your fleet at once, but you can do that step by step. Maybe in the course of a couple of years, that you can take the time to really renew your roll container fleet towards the Foldia. So yes, they are very much compatible with whether it is existing demountable roll containers or compact container models, for example. They can work very well together. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Anton, for this answer. So the next questions here in the chat. This is again a question to Mr. Huber from SPAR. One participant asked here now, is it possible to visit a SPAR distribution center? Who can we be in contact with? Mr. Huber, maybe you can answer this.
Yes, it's possible to visit us. We are open to share the topics with our logistic colleagues or from other companies. And yes, you can make a mail to me or go over the K.Hartwall in my contact. And yes, we are open.
Thank you very much for this, more or less invitation. Mr. Huber, thank you. So next question here, I would say this is a question for Stefan Lindh. Stefan Lindh, what about sustainability? Do you have a sustainable and responsible production process as K.Hartwall?
Hello again. Yes, of course, as a Nordic country, Finland, we are both planning but also investing in all kind of sustainable solutions here in Finland. For example, solar power on the roof and charging stations for electrical cars and so on. As the K.Hartwall family, the Hartwall family that owns K.Hartwall are very much interested to save the planet. So we are doing a lot of that, and then we are also checking our partners around the world with own people to see that they follow our rules and our values for this kind of things. Yes, but then of course all our products are one of the biggest goals for them is to take down the carbon footprint and to be a more sustainable solution for the years to come. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Stefan. Next question here in the chat goes to Mr. Tomas, to SPAR. So as I predicted that we will have a lot of questions to SPAR, and Mr. Tomas, the Foldia has a plastic base. Is this a good thing in your opinion?
Well, I'm not sure you are asking for the standard base or you are asking for the additional bars at the bottom of the standard base. but in both cases, the normal standard roll cage, the old one, what we used before, that was also in plastic. So it's maybe better than metal. It's a weight average over metal, I would say.
Okay, thank you very much for this. So next question we have here, it's a little bit regarding this webinar. I would say I think Anton is the best one to answer this question here. Is there a recording of this webinar available? If not, are there any presentations and or video of the Foldia available? So maybe Anton, you can answer this question here.
Yes, definitely. Well, this webinar is being recorded, and the recording of the webinar, both of the German version, which we had earlier, as well as this English version, will be made available. We will send out a link of these videos to the participants of the webinar. And also we have the YouTube channel of K.Hartwall, where not only the webinar will become available, but also there you will find previous webinars as well as product videos, for example. So both on the Foldia, on the Compactainer, but also on the other solutions that we as K.Hartwall can offer. For example, the A-Mate, which we have discussed earlier. The lift liner videos are on there, and they are also available in multiple languages, either spoken in different languages or subtitled. So there are a lot of videos to find on the K.Hartwall YouTube channel, and this webinar also will be made available on it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Anton. So then I have here again two technical questions to the product itself. So I think one question for Stefan and one for Anton maybe. So the first then for Stefan, can also put 4 folias with 3 sides in one folia. So the question we saw here, the SPAR situation with a 2-sided folia, which fits into the mother unit. And the question is here, can also be put 4 folias with 3 sides in one mother unit. Stefan, please.
Hello again. The simple answer is yes. 4 folias in one. So we have 1 to 4. That's it. And nothing is standing out on the sides. So it's really compact package for the return logistics. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Stefan. And then there is again the last technical question here to Anton. So is it possible to convert a Compactainer 2-side into a 2-side folia? So that's the really special question. I think there is a really interesting. So maybe we have some jokes here in the audience. So yeah, the Compactainer, this is the steel construction. It is a roll cage which is nestable and not foldable like the Foldia. So if we have a Compactainer as a mother unit, we can for sure put in folded folias. So I would say yes, but I will give the question to Anton as he is the sales expert here on that.
Thank you very much, Heiner. It's indeed an interesting question, and from let's say the bones of the unit itself is a very different unit. Exactly as you say, a Compactainer is not a Foldia, and if you look at how it is constructed, it is also quite different. So if I would take a Compactainer, it would mean quite a lot of let's say grinding and welding and adding components to make a Foldia out of a compactainer, which quite frankly, that would not make sense. So in that aspect, I would say everything is possible, but it is not sustainable, or it's not convenient turning a compactainer into a Foldia. So no, exactly as you explained, we can put Foldias into a open compactainer unit. So that is possible. As I've said before, there's a compatibility with Foldias and other types of roll cages that accounts as well for the compactainer, but it's not really possible to make out of a compactainer a Foldia. That's not efficient.
Thank you, Anton. Yeah, that's. I can see here no further questions in the chat. So please, if there are any questions, type it in. And yeah, if nothing happens here now, I have to say thank you to all the participants that you were here with us in this afternoon, that you are interested in our topic. And I think we will do a lot of more webinars in the near future to different topics, maybe also to automation. For sure, to automation, we will do this. And I have to thank a lot, send a big thank to Switzerland, to Mr. Beat Huber from SPAR International, to Mr. Jürgen Tomas, also from SPAR International. Thank you very much for your participation, for the work you did together with K.Hartwall, for the developments you did together, and that we are allowed to use you as a reference here, and that you will also participate on these webinars. Thank you very much for this. And thank you very much also to our marketing department, which allows us to work here in this kind of exchange as a webinar. Thank you to François Engberg, and thank you very much to Anton van Ginneken, my colleague from the Netherlands, and thank you very much to Stefan Lindh, our Head of Business Unit Retail. So I hope we will see in a few weeks again in the next seminar webinar, and please feel free to contact us, contact Mr. Huber, contact Stefan Lindh, contact Anton van Ginneken or myself if there is any questions, or in case that you will need help in your supply chain, that we can consult you here. And I wish all a good autumn, and thank you for this nice event. Thank you very much.